There are lots of great things that are happening all across this state in terms of feeding kids and breakfast, in the middle of the day, second chance, before school, after school, summer meals, take it home on the weekend. We are trying our hardest across the state to feed our kids. And we are working with every single possible stakeholder that we can, which includes speaking at principal conferences, superintendent conferences, your district-wide leadership. We are partnering with school boards in North Carolina, the North Carolina School Board Association, and now with local school boards. There are lots of things that are happening to give you support in how to make this work for you and your students, because we are doing this because it's what's good for kids. The other things that we are doing are partnering with the State Board of Education, and I'm really excited to introduce you to Matt Smith, who is the 2019 Principal of the Year for North Carolina. So Matt is the principal at Edgecombe Early College High School. He also serves as an advisor on the North Carolina State Board of Education, and he is just a rock star, both in his school, in his district, and in the state. We're very fortunate to have him as an advocate for feeding kids.
Good morning. How are we doing? Good morning? All right, so you guys probably know Tabari Wallace. Yeah, I'm the guy who came after Tabari Wallace. That has been my handle all year long. Wherever I've gone is, oh yeah, Tabari, you came after him. Great. So I'm just so honored to be here today to have a few minutes with you to talk about the work that No Kid Hungry is doing and the impact that that's making across the state. I want to tell you just a little bit about where I come from. Okay, I've been a 23-year educator in Edgecombe County. So Edgecombe County was one of the early adopters of No Kid Hungry's Second Chance Breakfast out at North Edgecombe High School, where my friend Donnell Cannon is principal. Our friends at Enloe made reference to North Edgecombe, and I think many of you guys probably know the amazing work that's taking place in North Edgecombe, not just through No Kid Hungry and Innovative Breakfast, but just unsticking a school that's been deeply entrenched in systemic inequity for years and years. 23 years as an educator in Edgecombe County, I've known for years and years that North Edgecombe was stuck. And Donnell Cannon, innovative leadership, a confluence of forces taking place, and that school is now being unstuck, and nutrition is part of that. I'm a principal at the early college. Here's how I integrated innovative breakfast into my school, okay? I met Tabari. I met Julie. Connected with Luann, Helen, Andrew, and Tamara. I made a phone call to my child nutrition director, changed our master schedule to include Second Chance Breakfast, and that was it. That's what it took for us, all right? That's what it took. It took a principal making a decision inspired by folks doing the work, collaborating within my district with my child nutrition manager, and that's how Second Chance Breakfast is now part of my school. It wasn't hard, okay? And what I'm 100% sure of is that we're feeding more kids. We're feeding more kids. And you know, it's been a while since I was a teenager. I'm curious, how many of you have kids? Do they eat? Yeah, mine too. Mine too. My 9-year-old is eating so much that the bathtub's getting smaller and the bed's getting smaller. Know what I mean? Right? And my 16-year-old, so we have a policy in our house. If it's in our refrigerator, if it's in our cupboards, you can eat it, right? And she does. I mean, they are eating me out of house and home. But kids come to school, and they walk down our hallways, and they don't say, I'm hungry. They don't say there wasn't anything in the fridge at home. They don't say, Mom was gone before I got up, and I had to put my kid brother or sister on the bus, and we just didn't have time to eat. They don't say that. They walk down our hallways in quiet desperation, right? Their stomach is empty, and they think that's normal. They think that's the way it's going to be. They think that's the way it's always going to be. And then the next thing you know, you change your system, and you make it possible for them to eat 2 of their 3 meals at school and possibly an after-school snack, and the next thing you know, you see them, and they realize they've been seen. And now that percentage of kids at your school that are recognized as individuals isn't 54%, it's 100%, because they know that the path to their head may be through their hearts, but the path through their hearts is sometimes through their stomach. You know what I mean? Yeah. So one of my favorite movies growing up was Field of Dreams. Now, Kevin Costner's movie career has gone south since then. But Field of Dreams had this resounding message, and you remember it. If you build it, what? They will come. If you build it, they will come. That's what is incumbent upon us as school leaders, is to build the system. We build the system, the kids will show up and eat. And then all that wonderful data stuff takes care of itself. The percentage of students that have reduced absenteeism, the percentage of students that have increased engagement in class, the percentage of kids that feel validated because you recognize them as individuals. All that data stuff takes care on the back end. I'm not a data hawk at my school. I know that's probably heresy to be a principal and say I'm not a data hawk, but I'm not. I don't pay attention to data on the front end. I pay attention to data on the back end after we create better systems to try to serve our teachers and serve our kids. So I'm 1,000% sure of a couple things. Edgecombe County on the Public School Forum's Roadmap of Need, where they take all 100 counties and they rank them according to 4 major indicators. Economic development is one, health is one, child health care, safety is one, and education. On the Roadmap of Need for the Public School Forum, Edgecombe County is 100 out of 100. Now wrap your head around that. And that's the district that I've been committed to for 23 years. Do we have hungry kids in our district? Yes. We do. They don't come to school wearing a sign that says, I'm hungry. But we know they're there, and we have to create systems that feed them. Now, I want to be very transparent also about this. Change doesn't happen super quickly in districts. In some cases, you may have an INLO where like highly motivated teacher leaders are building capacity from the ground up. Julie used the word grassroots, right? That's amazing if you're a principal and you've got that kind of teacher ownership and teacher empowerment taking place to change systems in your school. In some districts, that's not the case. In some districts, what we need is leadership from the top down on these issues. Like in some districts, what we need is your Board of Education and your superintendent to say, kids in our school are going to have systems that make sure that they eat, right? And then the rest of us, the principals and the teachers, we implement those systems because those systems are built around kids, they're not built around adults. I expected a lot more clicks for that. That was the pregnant pause. I was building up to that. And so this is my thing today, guys. I know that Edgecombe County's kids need us to build better systems for them. And my child nutrition director back there, Ruth McDowell, and I are talking about this. And we just at the break said, we got to get our super, our board, our elementary, middle, and high directors, we got to get them in the same room with Julie and with me, and we've got to make sure that this happens. We have a few early adopters in our district. Donnell School is one of those. My school is one of those. We have several others that are doing really cool things related to breakfast. But it's not all yet. It's not all yet, and it needs to be. Because I don't know how we make excuses for which schools do provide kids food and which schools don't. How do we make excuses for that? I don't know how we do that. How do we do that and then we say we love all kids, we have high expectations for all kids? How do we do that and say, but this isn't going to be at your school? And so whether or not you eat or not is a result of which school you attend. So one of the deep honors I have as being state principal of the year is being on the State Board of Education as an advisor with Mariah and with Tabari and with Freebird, all of whom have much cooler names than I have. I'm Matt Smith, right? Right? But I get to be on the state board with them, and I get to work with these amazing people that have all gelled around this commitment to the whole child. Some of those folks are in the room today. Our state board's strategic plan for the next 5 years has 3 main goals. I just want to talk with you about one of those goals. All right, our main goal number 1, I think it's goal 1 for a reason, is to eliminate opportunity gaps for children in North Carolina. Now, I want you to wrap your head around that for a second. Eliminate, not reduce, not mitigate, not lessen, to eliminate. Eliminate. That is a transitive verb, and it says that no kid in North Carolina will be subject to opportunity gaps, and that is the first goal of the State Board of Education, of our 5-year strategic plan. That's powerful, because what that says is that anything else, any transitive verb that is less than eliminating opportunity gaps is lip service. Right? So Goal 1, eliminate opportunity gaps. Underneath that Goal 1, we have specific metrics related to No Kid Hungry's work with Innovative Breakfast in North Carolina. Percentage of schools that we want engaged in Innovative Breakfast, number of schools and districts that have summer lunch programs. Those goals are posted for you on the board. But they are specific metrics that we're using to measure eliminating opportunity gaps in North Carolina. And I can see, and I hope you can, I can see a vision for North Carolina where 5 years down the road, not 2030, 2030 is a decade away. Our second graders will be graduating by then. I can't wait 10 years for us to eliminate opportunity gaps. They can't wait 10 years for us to eliminate opportunity gaps. We got to do that now, right? Like, what are we waiting on? Thank you, Hope County, for your leadership on this. Thank you, Bladen County, for your leadership on this. Thank you, No Kid Hungry, for your leadership on this. Because the kids deserve us to eliminate opportunity gaps now. How many kids come into a building and they say, I'm the face of opportunity gap? They don't, right? But we know who they are. We know that we've got to create systems to serve them. And your State Board of Education is gelled, okay, around this one goal of eliminating opportunity gaps for our kids. And No Kid Hungry's work with Innovative Breakfast and with summer lunch programs is specifically being measured as part of our dashboard, okay? Now, I know sometimes you see Twitter and you say, where is the unified vision for public education in North Carolina, right? Like, let's be honest, right? We see the state super and we see the state board, and sometimes they don't get along. Sometimes it's probably a euphemism, right? We see the GA and we see the governor, and sometimes they don't get along, right? Especially when it comes to budgets, right? If I'm looking for a unified vision for public education, here's what we can't do. We can't make excuses for what's taking place at a state level if at the local level we are empowered to make a difference for the kids in our building. We already are empowered. We just have to make sure that we do it. So I want you to be assured of this, okay? The State Board of Education, every single person that sits on that board is unified in their vision to eliminate opportunity gaps for our kids. And it is not lip service, it's a commitment that we're making. We're doing the deep work and the broad work to make sure that we get this thing done. And I want today to be a call to action for all of us, okay? We're celebrating, we're validating, we're recognizing, but let's make sure it's a call to action. Let's make sure that when we leave here, that there's a transitive verb, eliminating opportunity gaps, that guides our work when we go back to our districts. All right? Snap for that, please. Yeah, thank you.